Alright, guys, welcome to the Season 8 draft for the main roster. Uh, yeah, I guess it's just probably best just to go straight into it. Some people might disagree with the order that I have for certain people, and don't get me wrong, I kind of am too. There's some people that are super low that shouldn't be as low as they are, but it's the order that I kind of wrote them in. So I'm trying to keep everybody separate instead of all crammed on one show with the two separate bloodlines. I want them to be as far away from everybody as possible. Of course, you guys will see that as we go through. The first major thing is obviously the titles have switched over, which if you watch the NXT draft, you will have known that. Um, so, um, so SmackDown won the SmackDown versus Raw points, so obviously they will get first pick here. And like I said, there's no TPK versus Ace Wyatt. I am officially over the entire operation, which will still be part of storyline as we go through. And hopefully I can do a better job at explaining that whenever we get to that point. Obviously, you're looking at the champions right now. So the champions for SmackDown, Becky Lynch being the Women's World Champion. I have Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa as tag champions. And look, I explained this into the NXT draft. Is the People's Championship is mine, but Brock is kind of a placeholder because my character is still yet to be created. I'm gonna try to look and see if I can create it the exact same way that I had it in season 7. I want more consistency with it, but Brock essentially added to SmackDown. So spoiler alert, The Rock is the first overall pick for SmackDown. So there's that. Of course, we got LA Knight as the United States champion. Roman Reigns as the world champion. And then we have a women's mid-card champion. Oh, yeah. Which is Jordan Grace. But as I said in the NXT video, this Jordan Grace specifically is a downloaded wrestler from Community Creations. So Jordan is, this is just going to be a placeholder, but Jordan Grace is the Women's United States champion. So, and then the Women's Tag Team Champions, which I just downloaded Mickie James. But it would be Nia Jax and Mickie James here. So those two are the Women's Tag Team Champions. So we're going to do the men's and women's separate for the draft. Like I said, The Rock is the first overall pick for SmackDown. So with that, we'll bounce it over to Raw. And of course, we're going to do the Raw champions first. Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion. The Fiend and Uncle Howdy, part of the White Six. And with them being champions, they have requested that the entirety, all 6 members, be drafted to Raw. So they will get that granted, and we'll use that as a pick. Not the first overall pick, I should say that. But we got Rhea Ripley, the WWE Women's Champion, Randy Orton, the Intercontinental Champion, which I am very happy about, and Io Sky as the Women's Intercontinental Champion. So now we're going to go for Raw's first draft pick. And this one shouldn't be really much of a surprise. I was considering doing Stone Cold, but we're gonna take Cody Rhodes for the first pick. And of course, this is a lot more fun with you know whenever we have two people. So we might eventually merge JWU, um, just Jag Dash Wyatt universe. Uh, so if you guys haven't checked out our secondary channel, please do that. I said it's Jag Dash Wyatt universe, JWU for short. So obviously SmackDown you're saying it will be CM Punk. Be yeah, that's pick for SmackDown, and he is holding the Money in the briefcase. So uh, that will be added after this draft. So back to Raw for the next draft. We are going to take Stone Cold Steve Austin. Um, I'll have to see what Stone Cold is right here. I know this is for the WrestleMania 17. Maybe this one's the regular one, hopefully. So we'll add that one. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. And back to SmackDown. And SmackDown has selected the ring general Gunther. Back to Raw. And we're going to go with a tag team. John Moxley and Seth Rollins, who actually just came back as tag team late last season around Hell in a Cell, and actually won the tag team titles. And then, of course, lost them to DIY, who were the current champions. Back to SmackDown. They are going with AJ Styles here. Back to Raw. And those selected Karrion Kross. And I know I said in NXT she might show up there, but yeah, I will put Scarlett on the same brand as Karrion Kross. Okay. Back to SmackDown. And this is a massive one for SmackDown here. They are going to take Finn Balor, well, the entirety of Judgment Day. So we got Dominic, Finn Balor, JD McDonough. Let's see. And Carlito. Sure, that's all the members, right? I mean, of course, they will also be taking Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So, an interesting note here that I should say after King of the Ring, of course, last season's Judgment Day was the regular four members of the men, and then they also they didn't have Liv or Raquel. Raquel actually won like 5 mid-card championships by herself, which is kind of insane. But yeah, they're dropping Dakota Kai and Cora Jade, unfortunately, like WWE did. But I'll digress on that. And yeah, replace them with the actual members in real life, which is Raquel and Liv Morgan. I do wish Raquel had updated attire here, but yeah, it's sometimes how it goes. So yeah, all 6 members of Judgment Day to SmackDown. back to Raw, and Braun Breaker will be part of the Raw roster. Back to SmackDown. It's an interesting play here, and I've seen how this character will do. So Triple H back to SmackDown. Right, back to the Raw brand. Another tag team. So Street Profits. Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford. Again, these overalls really don't make any sense. So, all right, back to SmackDown here. And this one I've went back and forth with trying to figure out if which one I should do. Of course, I downloaded the 01 Kane, which is a higher overall. Give him a little difference of an attire. I have him written down as the 01 Kane, but I wouldn't cut out a appearance by that 08 Kane this season. So, and probably going forward if they continue to have him in the game as the 08 Kane. So, but for now, the 01 Kane is in. Back to Raw here. Not going to have to get too far here. We're going to have John Cena part of the Raw roster really early on too here. Of course, at the point of this video coming out, Cena might still be on this hill run. If not, personally, I wouldn't mind if he's face at this point. I've been using the 05 Cena. 2012 Cena was minutes. So I think I'll use the 2012 Cena. I thought that's fair enough. And I'll go ahead and write that down in my book as well. All of my stats stuff are written down on papers. I am trying to find a place to put all of my stats and stuff. Of course, I have records of all the titles since season 4. That's as far back as I went. So Cena is recognized as my first ever WWE champion, which I would like to also say that in JWU, our separate universe from this, is I've said that the WWE Championship is really the most prestigious title. So I want that to stay the same here. So yeah, Cena recognized his first champion. Yeah, so back to SmackDown. Which, this is another character that I struggled with on finding his footing, who I was going to go with. And I'll just say the best version seems to be the regular Taker. So we'll use regular Taker this season. Went with the 09 Taker last year, and I did like it, but he just, I don't know, every big match that I had him in, he just was not all there. So we'll do one more pick for Raw, and then I will go into a reveal of something here, which I should have said at the beginning of the video. So Kevin Owens coming to Raw here. So, like I said, a little special feature here. I know I said me and the Phenom King are not the owners of Raw and SmackDown, as I am taking full control of BEU, which I was always really fully in control. But it's the direction that we're going to go. Whenever if I do have a match in any PLE, I will represent Raw, as that is, the brand that I really most identify with. So nothing gets SmackDown, but there's one guaranteed match that will be happening at WrestleMania. That will be SmackDown versus Raw. Spoiler on a early plan, but I'm not going to spoil what match it is. But it will be a first in BEU. And of course, if you've been following the story for the last year since right before WrestleMania, you should kind of be able to put two and two together there. But anyways, to the reveal of what this is, we have two brand new general managers. And the first one for Raw, or well, the only one for Raw, is Shawn Michaels. I will put him as the 05 version, because if he needs to step in, then um, then maybe deal with, say, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton situation. Completely hypothetical, could happen, could not. Um, he can step in and deal with whoever he would like to in the ring. So that's the reason why the general managers are, important. So, and while I'm on Raw, I will go ahead and add the Wyatts. It's not going to count towards a pick, but they are on the roster. So, um, yeah. So we're going to have Dexter Loomis. Of course, these guys are already added. So Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Nikki Cross, all added to the Raw roster. I'm like I said, as of May 12th, Alexa Bliss is not part of the White Six. I've heard that could happen. And hopefully by the time this video comes out, we have a more clear idea of what they're going to do. But she won't be included in the White Six for the season, at least. She could be added during the season. Like I said, I'm not going to really start recording until July, until I have Jordan Grace and Penta, for that matter. And speaking of Penta, uh, he is not listed on my rosters. Okay, so just double checking to make sure. Yeah, no. Penta is not part of either roster, so whenever he does come in, it's going to be a surprise on where he goes. So look forward to that. Of course, by the time this video releases, I should already have him listed somewhere, because I would like to have him in the Rumble. So maybe he comes in the Rumble as a free agent, and Raw and SmackDown can fight to get a signing. So, anyways, like I said, Shawn Michaels is the Raw general manager, but SmackDown, and you may have actually saw him. There was two people added that I have not drafted yet that have been on my screen. And the SmackDown general manager is Kurt Angle. I feel like he identifies pretty well with SmackDown, part of the SmackDown 6. And so, yeah, Kurt Angle, part of the SmackDown roster. Okay, so keeping on the SmackDown roster, because they got the next pick. So they're going with their second tag team of the night, being A-Town Down Under. Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. All right, back to the Raw roster. And actually, this is another part of the DLC that not going to be added yet, but we have Motor City Machine Guns of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. So, part of the DLC, like I said. And SmackDown, who's going to get the next pick? They are going to choose the legendary Rey Mysterio. Um, Sporting his LWO shirt, but LWO will be part of the NXT brand. So back to Raw for this pick, and like I said, I did put this roster together myself. So if someone's super low, which I mean I'm looking at the list right now, and there's a couple of people that are extremely low for their where they should be, but that's part of it. The only way to really guarantee your spot at the top is be a champion. So happened, but Eddie Guerrero is the next pick for Raw, and SmackDown's pick will be skipped again because I do not have him, but the Phenom King is the next draftee here after Eddie Guerrero. So, all right. So with that, I'm gonna go back to the Raw brand, and kind of surprising that I put this man ahead, but separated from both sides of the bloodline. And maybe this might actually be the case by the time July rolls around, as Backlash just happened 2 nights ago in real life, and Jacob, walked out after the match with the Fatal 4-Way match, which I was hoping would be a match of the night, and then of course the ending kind of, however you want to say it. Hopefully it made sense by the time July rolls around, like I said. So, but yeah, Jacob Fatu back on the Raw brand and, as a singles competitor. All right, so the next one is the other guy that I revealed on my screen. Be Chris Jericho. This time the 03 version had him as the present day Jericho, and honestly, I just couldn't get a grasp of it. Which I guess, I mean, he won Money in the Bank. Of course, gave it to the Phenom King, who then turns his back at the end of last season. And this is where the context of me speaking about it will make a lot more sense, because the Phenom King, made a deal with Chris Jericho and The Rock. And The Rock got his WWE title match, and the Phenom King also gave Chris Jericho a world title match. It was already pre-printed before SummerSlam, and then of course once the Phenom King abandoned his position as owner of SmackDown, and I took over fully, those contracts were still in effect, which is why Chris Jericho got the world title match in the first place. But then the Phenom King turned around and gave CM Punk the Money in the Bank briefcase. So, yeah, just long story short, the Phenom King really screwed Jericho over there by just essentially using Jericho to get the case to give it to CM Punk, which was a plan all along from SummerSlam. But I guess Jericho wasn't part of the plans because the Raw knew. But yeah, whatever you want to say, I guess. So, anyways, back to the Raw side of things, and I am excited to push this guy as a singles competitor. In real life, I hope he is able to do something. But Ludwig Kaiser, uh, been I can't really say featured very heavily in the IC title match, but I thought it was going to be clear that he was going to be involved in the WrestleMania match, but unfortunately, not the case for him. So, fine is it. All right, Bobby Lashley, 89 overall, probably Damian Priest, switching from SmackDown back to Raw. Of course, the Judgment Day went to SmackDown on trying to get them separated. So, see how it goes. Uh, yep. But SmackDown, and we have Sami Zayn. Right, and then back to Raw. Not gonna have to go too far. Well, looks like he has not been downloaded. Okay, so Samoa Joe was gonna be the next person in line here. So Samoa Joe. All right, back to SmackDown. We're gonna have the Usos. So aligned with Roman Reigns, The Rock. We got the Usos. So we got the four main OG Bloodline members. Of course, you could include Sami Zayn in that, I guess. Of course, Paul Heyman not coming with Roman Reigns this time around. So uh, I was originally going to use the 2017 Usos, but I think we'll hold off on that. Oh, right, back to Raw. This is a big one. Of course, you guys have probably been waiting on this for Tama Tonga to not have the Intercontinental Championship logos printed all over his his pants. Because for whatever reason, that was the thing. And also Tongaloa, that's Tongaloa, not Tangaloa. I honestly was just too lazy to change it. So, yeah, it is what it is. Apologies. But yeah, so the new Bloodline, part of the Raw roster, and also on the same brand as Jacob Fatu. So we'll see how that all works out. Also, since I'm talking, Tongaloa was a United States champion for like 3 weeks. Um, so that's kind of crazy. Uh, anyways, back to the SmackDown roster. We're gonna go with the Miz, and let's see. I know I had Maurice on the NXT roster. Add her to the SmackDown brand, so that's gonna be with Shinsuke Nakamura. Back to the SmackDown brand. It's gonna be really easy. So we're gonna go Kofi and Xavier. So for the first time, we are not going to include Biggie in the New Day. The New Day will be their own separate people. So going back to the Raw side of things, we're already down here. So we're going to use Wade Barrett this year for the first time. Will be his debut. Back to SmackDown here. Okay. Sorry, apologies. Sheamus is going to SmackDown. Going to go Andrade. Batista here. And this should be R-Truth is actually going to be a part of the official roster. Would be Edgebuck. Edgebuck ran with the 24/7 title on SmackDown last season. So the War Raiders. That's what they're going to go by now. So now that we actually have that, and this is really one final big one for SmackDown. Of course, there's still 5 more bits after this one for SmackDown. So they are going to get American Made, which is all 4 members. So we're going to have Chad Gable, Brutus, Julius, and for the women's side, they will also get Ivy Nile. So already 8 female superstars, and you know, 3 of those have come in the men's draft. So uh, very good draft so far for SmackDown. Back to the men's side of things, of course, and to the Raw brand. For the first time in the universe, I've been waiting to use this guy. But we're going to get the 03 Scott Steiner. So hopefully I can maybe run Scott Steiner 03 versus Randy Orton. Um, just the name one match off the top. Maybe even Braun Breaker. Maybe even Braun Breaker teamed up with Scott Steiner. Which could be massive. I would also like to run Triple H versus Scott Steiner at least one time. So, all right, back to SmackDown. Won't to go too far for this one either. It's returning to BEU is Rob Van Dam. It's been a while since that's been part of this roster. Now, like I said, I'm trying to keep some people separated, and with the New Day going and separating from Big E is going to come to Raw. So finally get to see Big E as a singles competitor. Finally, so SmackDown here for the men's. Gonna have Ilya Dragunov, which one person that I want to see return in the near future, but the injury that he has right now is keeping him away. Hopefully, he'll come back as a someone to deal with. So, all right, the Raw side of things, Jeff and Matt Hardy. The Hardys back together, and who knows? We might see a split off once again. Every tag team is splittable. So can't wait to see what they can do. And maybe Jeff wins the second world championship, which was almost match of the year last year. Just got beaten out by the White Sits versus Latino Heat, being Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, the tag titles right at the end of the season. So back to SmackDown here. And once again, someone that I didn't think was going to be part of any roster, but I know I could go 88 overall, 98 GDP, but I want to see present day DDP, which I think is very cool. So we got 3 pits for Raw left and 2 pits for SmackDown here. The SmackDown pits are 2 tag teams, and then Raw will have 2 singles and a tag team. So back to Raw here real quick. Braun Strowman, who, of course, also part of the releases that just happened. Not sure how true the rumor is of him having a special contract clause that might be able to have him come back for, yeah. But yeah, pretty deadly. Swenson, Kit Wilson. And then back to Raw. Final pits here. So we're gonna have Akam and Razar. I could have put them with Karrion Kross, but I just decided not to do that. So Razar. All right, and then the final pick for SmackDown for the men's roster will be the Dudley Boys. Deadly Devon. And then, of course, the final pick for Raw here. Just downloaded them. Glad they sets it back in WWE. And that would be Aleister Black. Go ahead. officially on the roster now. So, except for Raw, we'll have Samoa Joe and the Motor City Machine Guns added at some point, and for SmackDown, we'll have the Phenom King come in. So 44 superstars total, ending the men's draft here, and then 48 total for SmackDown. So both ending up with 40 male superstars each, which is a pretty cool stat. So um, I do have a second page for the men's roster ready to go. Nobody is on the second page yet. Hopefully we can keep it that way. But yeah, um, this women's draft, yeah, this is going to be kind of a wild draft for SmackDown women's draft. All right. So with that, Aleister Black, the final draft pick for Raw, ending off of 40 male superstars each, 43 men in NXT. So we'll go for the women's draft coming up next. Okay, now the second part of the season 8 draft here. It is kind of bad that the first draft pick for SmackDown is a DLC character, but we'll get through it. SmackDown technically, yeah, well, not technically. They straight up did. They beat the Raw roster, so they technically get the first pick. However, Julia is not available yet, so Julia will be the first draft pick for SmackDown. So yeah, all right. So SmackDown actually has. I mean, I wrote my paper so wrong. It just so the second picks for SmackDown on here are listed as Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. So the third pick would be the next pick. So I'm going to go ahead and go SmackDown that pick. Of course, nobody's going to take it. So Tony Storm will be the next pick for SmackDown. So back to Raw. The second pick for Raw is a DLC character as well, which is Stephanie Vecchio, which she will be, yeah, she'll be here in 2 days as of this recording. So, but the first pick for Raw will be Roxanne Perez. I think that's going to be pretty understandable. So, all right. I'm just going to draft for Raw. I mean, obviously, there's no like brands fighting for each other. So I know this is going to be a little confusing, but I want it to be even on my paper. So these next few picks for Raw are just kind of line it up to where both brands are going to be even, and I can just go back and forth so I don't lose my spot. Yeah, apologies. I can be a little stupid sometimes, but we live in this world of professional wrestling. Anyways, Lita, or I just kind of spoiled that there. It'll be Trish and Lita as a tag team. Putting them back together. Technically, they were part of the Hall of Fame that I have put two inductees into that thing, and it's just way too early. I mean, not to mention that I can literally bring anybody back at any given time. So it's just kind of. So, anyways, that's the first pick here, and then this pick being Lana Austin coming back again for an 8th season. Was here for the first 2 or 3 years that I ever did Universe. Of course, none of that is on my channel, and I'm honestly not even sure if it's on any channel. So, um, but Lana has literally been one of the best additions to every single roster, and hopefully she can, uh, yeah, hopefully she can be as good as she's been the last couple of seasons. This specific Lana Austin actually just won the Women's Intercontinental Championship on JWU. Little spoiler for the first episode, but um, very impressive. Of course, by the time this comes out, we're already going to be through. Say, Royal Rumble's already been uploaded. That released at the end of May, so we should be at Chamber, or we should be after Chamber. Actually, we should be either at or coming to WrestleMania by the time this draft releases. So, um, okay, so now I'm even on my papers with this pick. So back to SmackDown. The next pick will be Ava. Ava won the Women's Money in the Bank last season and cashed in and won the WWE Women's Championship, held it for a month, and then, of course, Rhea Ripley won it back. All right, back to Raw. And this woman has literally been to both brands, and especially in week 41, she was on both brands. Quit Raw and showed up on SmackDown and became the team captain for SmackDown for War Games. So, very good year for Tiffany Stratton. Of course, she was gone for most of it. So, we're going to turn that around for her when she comes back to the Raw brand. So, back to SmackDown. And we got a massive addition, and she's going to be a singles competitor this time around. So we're not going to have to worry too much. Bianca Belair comes back to SmackDown. Now, of course, I mentioned the Judgment Day kicked these two out, but they will still be a tag team going forward. They're the reason why we almost won. I'll say we because Ace is kind of representing Raw. Again, not a problem with that. So, still going to be unbiased. I hope both brands do well. All right. So, very sad that they both got released. So, okay. So, back to SmackDown. We're going to continue on the tag team trends with Kairi Sane and Asuka. Both of them part of Damage Control, but with Dakota Kai out and Io Sky also on Raw. I wanted to see what they can do on their own brand. So, switching to SmackDown for them. Raw continues to direct with Bailey. This pick actually came about whenever JWU actually, I believe during our Rumble pay-per-view, Bailey was on SmackDown, and I noticed that she had a red attire, so kind of put these two together, and well, you know, bleed red, I guess, right? Okay. For SmackDown, we got Alexa Bliss. No more 2016 Alexa Bliss. We're just gonna stick with the games version. All right. Yeah. We're gonna take the regular Lyra. Yeah. Lyra coming to Raw. Back to SmackDown. Gonna try to run through this. I only had 20 minutes left to record before it turns into over an hour, so I'm gonna try to avoid hitting the hour mark. We should be right at it by the time we're all done with it. So we have right under 12 minutes left to record time here for that to be the case. So back to the Raw side, I'm going to have Chelsea Green and Piper Niven as a tag team. But I could see both of these women going after either the mid-card title or, who knows, maybe they go after every title that there is on the roster to go after. So we'll we'll see. Next pick for SmackDown is so obviously Hella Fire will is still on the roster as of this recording. Hopefully that stays for a while. I'm very disappointed that this one is gone though. So Isla Dawn, the Unholy Union, will come to SmackDown as a tag team. Try to even it up with all these tag teams and stuff. SmackDown will end up having 5 tag teams, as Raw will have 4. So, um, yeah, I don't really want to include NXT into the tag division. I just, yeah. Um, okay, so that was SmackDown. Back to Raw now. I put them on NXT, didn't I? Yep. Okay. See how that's confusing? Apologies for that. So they are both on SmackDown. So back to the Raw side of things. Yeah, sorry. I am getting distracted. As Raw is actually on as of, yeah. Anyways, Jade Cargill to Raw, separating her and Bianca. Um, don't worry though, there's someone close by uh, following Jade Cargill here. But back to SmackDown. Um, in the GW universe, I have the 2017 version of Carmella. I am going to use the endgame version, current day Carmella. Um, so yeah, all right. And like I said, there's someone close to following Jade here. That's going to be Naomi. Of course, a little outdated already, but um, so assigned to Raw. And finally, for the first time, so I said that there's going to be 5 tag teams. That means there's only one more tag team left for each brand. Um, and I know this is probably going to surprise some people that I'm not going to put Gigi and JCJ together, but Gigi by herself is coming to SmackDown as a singles competitor. So finally going to separate them and see what they actually got. So, back to the Raw roster. I love, in a sense, that this game features intergender wrestling. But more specifically, I can't wait to put China into the men's Royal Rumble match. And that might be unpopular to some people, but that's fun. Um, I it makes me feel like I have a purpose to aspire into content because, I mean, for the women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania, I have it listed as the China Memorial Battle Royal, which is cool. I like doing that. I like having the memorial portion of it. Um, so, and I think I'll continue doing that, but I would actually like to feature China in uh, the actual content itself. So I have Ivan I listed as the next one. So obviously that's not the case. So we'll go ahead and do the next pick down below it, which is the final tag team for SmackDown. And we're going to have Brie and Nikki Bella, the Bella Twins, go to SmackDown, I believe for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. So Um, yeah, switching back over to Raw here, and we got our final tag team for Raw as well. So, and this time it is Fallon Henley and JC Jane. Um, Jasmine Nitz is someone that I would like to feature, but obviously I don't have her downloaded, and also for the fact that she is just kind of a, I don't know, it's a very questionable person at this point right now. So um, if anybody watches this and questions that, just you know, I would read into that one just a little bit more. So not necessarily on the blacklist or anything like that, uh, but yeah, I mean, this for now she's not going to be featured in any content. Ellen Henley, however, like I could legitimately split these two up and it would be just fine. So, but so far, that's what we're aiming for is to maybe they'll be better than Fallon Henley and Kiana James. Uh, not sure. Kiana, of course, I believe is on NXT. Yes, part of the NXT roster. Um, so, all right. So just put Fallon. So we're back on the SmackDown side of things. And hopefully I can let's get Natalia to do something this season, which is completely my fault for not having her, um, you know, be anywhere, or I'm not even sure she's been drafted, just to be honest. So very underrated. Of course, she's very much a legend in the women's division. Of course, mostly overshadowed by all the newcomers, which, to be fair, a lot of these newcomers are very interesting. Um, of course, the very last draft pick for SmackDown is part of that group. Um, so, anyways, back to Raw. We're gonna stick right here and Michin. So it's also interesting because I usually have Michin and Naomi together. That's not the case this year. I love that tag team. I love that I created that tag team, and it'll probably make a return at some point. They last teamed up at War Games. Um, in a losing effort to the Raw roster, Lana Austin's team. So maybe they might try to go after some revenge with Lana being on Raw as well. So back to SmackDown. Another sad release, but I cannot wait to see how she can tear it up on the either independent scene, MMA scene, wherever she may go. Shayna Baszler. Back to the Raw roster. And this person returned last year during the Mae Young Classic uh, for the Raw roster, or yeah, for the Raw side of things. Uh, so Paige is going to be back to SmackDown, right? I could have put all three of them back into a tag team, but Sonya is on NXT. But I want to see how Zoe does as a singles competitor. So Zoe starts SmackDown. Back to the Raw brand. Sasha, of course, you guys saw earlier, so we'll be back on Raw. And this is one of the people I talked about overshadowing for all the right reasons. So Ruka is back on the Raw roster, or the SmackDown roster. And I believe for the final pick for Raw. And she shouldn't have waited this long to go, but she did, as Zelina Vega, former WWE Women's Champion last season. So, yeah, that It's a hell of a roster. Hell of a. I love it. I mean, majority of these women are on a brand, of course. Oh, certain people are not. But is anybody specifically missing to a brand? See. I believe we can spare one more for Raw. Michelle McCool is an option. We can share some of these people. Just to be fair, if you're a big name, I mean, you might as well be part of a roster here. Eve Torres could. I keep seeing these like the 17s and they're blank and I'm like, oh, why didn't I put Becky Lynch? Sorry there. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Of course, Stephanie McMahon will be with Triple H, so on the SmackDown roster, but she won't be wrestling. But you know, I'm just gonna add her for the spot. But she is really just a manager, so I wouldn't read too much into me putting her there. Cool. That's fine. Add her to the Raw brand. So, all right. With that is the end of the draft for season 8. Of course, recorded May 12th, as we said right now. So, of course, it probably won't come out until July. So, by the time we get there, it'll be fun. So, all right. That so I end up showing Drew McIntyre here right at the end of this. So, we will see you on the first episode of Raw Day 1. PlayStation